Okay, let's now talk about this important note, which we alluded to before, but now we're going to see an example and it's going to make much more sense. So it's important to consider whether the flow through the network has already been cut before adding the edge. This can be seen in the example below. So let's have a look here and let's look at cut 1. Okay, so let's go through and see where all the cuts are occurring. So cut 1 is going to be equal to, well, we've got a cut through here, then here, then here, then there. So we've got to cut through 3. So let's add 3 here. And notice that we add 3 because we've got a flow coming through 3, because we've got a flow coming here and then through there. But now we come to this section right here. This is where we need to be careful, because do you see how I have a cut here? The fact that I have a cut here means that no water is flowing through B to D, because I've cut it here. So there's nothing flowing through there. And you might say, well, what if it's flowing through this part right here? Well, remember, you're cutting it here as well. So you're cutting it here, so there's nothing to flow here. So the fact that we're cutting it here and here means we don't count this 7. So you always need to be aware of what you should and shouldn't include. So we don't include 7 here. We do include 9, and we do include 6. Now, if we add these all up, 3 plus 9 is 12, plus 6 is 18. And that's exactly what we see over here. Unfortunately, there's a little mistake in your notes. That should say 18. And notice what it says. The edge from B to D. So let's zoom out here. The edge from B to D, so it's referring to this part right here, isn't counted as it doesn't impact the maximum flow. It has already been isolated from the source. So that's very important there to note. So let's now apply this same logic and see if we can figure out what the flow or the capacity of cut 2 will be. So here's cut 2. Let's do the same thing. So that means for cut 2, we're going here to here to here to here. All right, you would include 5 because I've got a flow coming through 5. Would you include 7 here? Well, you would, because you've got this 9, which is flowing here into this part right here. So you would include this 7. Would you include this 2? Yes, because you've got this flow coming through that way. So you have flow coming through it. So you include the 2. Would you include the 8 here? No, you would not include the 8 because as you can see, you've cut it right here at this 6. And because you've cut it there, that means nothing is flowing through this way right here because you've stopped the flow. So that means you would not count this. Don't count. So this is where you've really got to be on your guard and be careful of this. So, all right, so that means we are going to count this 6 here because we're cutting it there. All right, 5 plus 2 is 7, 7 plus 7 is 14, plus 6 is 20. And that's exactly what we see over here. The answer is 20 because you're adding all of those up, but you have to be careful not to add that part right there. So hopefully that has made sense.